And the subject of where the coronavirus leak from came up. It came up in Scott Morrison's press conference yesterday. He said to me, I don't know whether it leaked from the lab or it came from natural causes. We're still backing another inquiry into this. So Joe Biden and Boris Johnson at different press conferences were asked about this today. Now, Boris Johnson, Pete, he said that he doesn't think that it was leaked from the lab. He thinks it's more a zoonotic source, but he says he can't say for sure. Joe Biden, a lot more equivocal on it.
I do think there's a problem with zoonotic diseases, and this is clearly the thing we have to focus on. And it's the practice that seems to be particularly prevalent in some parts of Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia, of farming wild animals. That is really where the risks are. At the moment, the advice that we've had is it doesn't look as though this particular disease of zoonotic origin came from a lab. Clearly, anybody sensible would want to keep an open mind.
I think China has to start to act more responsibly in terms of international norms on human rights and transparency. Transparency matters across the board. We don't know, we haven't had access to the laboratories to determine whether or not, I have not reached a conclusion because our intelligence community is not certain yet, whether or not this was a consequence of from the marketplace of a bat and interfacing with animals in the environment that caused this COVID-19.
Yeah, and timely too, Andrew, that our colleague here at Sky, Sharry Markson, she aired pictures last night on her show of bats in cages at Wuhan labs, and so I mean she's kind of been leading the way when it comes to that story, which Joe Biden's changed his tune on. It would appear in the only last month or so. Anyway, on matters closer to home, the family from Billawheeler seeking to stay here in Australia. Any progress on that front with the Prime Minister today?
I think this is the strongest indication yet, Pete, that this will occur. The family will be allowed to stay here on a temporary protection visa. Don't want to get hopes up for them or their supporters, but have a listen to these answers and see if you agree with me on what Scott Morrison's saying here. He was questioned by another reporter, and then I kind of pushed him on it because he was being equivocal on what would happen with them, but he certainly doesn't rule out a temporary protection visa and then being allowed to stay. And I guess that's in the context of this sad story. We know the blood poisoning of the daughter, her going down the hospital. They've been languishing in Christmas Island for years now, and something has to give one way or the other. Have a listen to the PM. So will they be settled in Australia?
Well, when we have more to say on that matter, well, it's settled. Well, that wouldn't be government policy for a pathway to permanent settlement. That is not the government's policy.
TPV or some other visa?
Well, I just said there are options that are being considered that are consistent with both health advice and the humanitarian need and the government's policy.
It sounds like it's possible.
Well, I'll let you commentate. I'm just telling you where we're at right now.
So, Peter, we're in London now and meeting ahead with Boris Johnson, see if they ink an in-principle agreement on that free trade deal. That's in probably 36 hours' time.
Yeah.
He's meeting some senior ministers in England tomorrow, Scott Morrison, including the Chancellor of the Exchequer. He's working at a pretty hectic pace in terms of meeting as many people as he can during this trip.
What's your hunch, Andrew? Do you think that can get done?
I thought it wouldn't. And over the last few hours, I have a feeling it might.
Okay, feeling a bit more confident. All right, well, we'll talk to you again in another hour, Andrew, and see how you're feeling then. Look forward to that. We'll talk to you soon.